So this is the Tissa Sutta. Who is going to read first? Any volunteers to read?
Bante, I can start, Bante.
Okay.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. At Savatthi. Now at that time, Venerable Tissa, the Buddha's paternal cousin, informed several mendicants. Reverends, my body feels like it's drugged. I'm disoriented. The teachings don't inspire me, and dullness and drowsiness fill my mind. I live the spiritual life dissatisfied and have doubts about the teachings. Then several mendicants went up to the Buddha, bowed, sat down to one side, and told him what had happened. So the Buddha said to a certain monk, "Please, mendicant, in my name tell the mendicant Tissa that the teacher summons him." "Yes, sir," that monk replied. He went to Tissa and said to him, "Reverend Tissa, the teacher summons you." "Yes, Reverend," Tissa replied. He went to the Buddha, bowed, and sat down to one side. The Buddha said to him, "Is it really true, Tissa, that you informed several mendicants that your body feels like it's drugged and like it's disoriented and the teachings don't inspire you and dullness and drowsiness fill your mind? And you live your spiritual life dissatisfied and have doubts about the teachings?" "Yes, sir. What do you think, Tissa? If you're not rid of greed, desire, fondness..."
Okay, let me pause here. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So here, the cousin of the Buddha, one of Buddha's relatives, actually he was a monk, and what is his name?
Tissa.
Tissa, Bhante Tissa. And was he happy about the monk life?
No.
No. He was kind of, he lost the path, and he didn't know what to do. The Dhamma was very deep for him to understand. He didn't have any happiness in the mind. He didn't meditate well. He had lots of doubts about the Dhamma. Dhamma was not clear to him. So what do you think about this situation? Do you come across this kind of situation? Do you experience this kind of mind status sometimes? I think you are luckier than this Bhante, right? Because you understand the Dhamma, you don't have doubts, everything is clear to you, you know everything in the Dhamma, you don't have any questions to ask. So you are luckier, right? So this Bhante was innocent and he was very weak. So that is why he was not happy about his monk life, and maybe he thought to disrobe. But fortunately, other monks who knew about this took that Bhante Tissa to the Buddha, and that was happening here. Now we are going to learn about the Anuttara Purisadhamma Sarathi quality of the Buddha. Do you remember the Anuttara Purisadhamma Sarathi? That means the matchless teacher, the incomparable teacher to train others. So here we can see now Buddha is going to teach that Bhante the Dhamma in a way that Bhante understands things well, and he is going to love this path again. So this is very important because some practitioners, even at present, experience from time to time some kind of what do you call, you feel like you are lost, and you may have lots of doubts, you can't, the meditation is not going well. So from time to time we may experience those kind of things. But if we go to a Kalyana Mitta, or if you start reading suttas, uh, we may find that joy again, that rapture again, right? So because that Dhamma helps us all the time, Kalyanamitas help us, teachers help us. So now we are going to learn something like that here, and it is very important to go to a teacher, to a Kalyanamitta, to get advice when we are not happy practicing the Dhamma, practicing the path, when we have lots of doubts and perplexities about the path. It's always advisable to go to a Kalyanamitta, knowledgeable Kalyanamitta, to a teacher. We can see very clearly here how that Bhante is saved by the Supreme Buddha, and he again loved this Dhamma path and became liberated. So next part is the Buddha's instruction. Any Kalyanamitas to read?
I can read, Bhante.
Okay, Rob, go ahead.
Start where is it really true? Starting there?
Correct.
Okay. Hang on a sec.
Oh, sorry. You can start here. What do you think, Tissa?
Okay. What do you think, Tissa? If you're not rid of greed, desire, fondness, thirst, passion, and craving for form, when that form decays and perishes, will it give rise to sorrow, lamentation, pain, sadness, and distress? Yes, sir. Good, Tissa. That's how it is, Tissa. When you're not rid of greed for form, that's how it is, Tissa, when you're not rid of greed for form. If you're not rid of greed for feeling, perception, choices, consciousness, when that consciousness decays and perishes, will it give rise to sorrow, lamentation, pain, sadness, and distress? Yes, sir. Good, Tissa. That's how it is, Tissa. When you're not rid of greed for consciousness. What do you think, Tissa, if you are rid of greed, desire, fondness, thirst, passion, and craving for form, when that form decays and perishes, will it give rise to sorrow, lamentation, pain, sadness, and distress? No, sir. Good, Tissa. That's how it is, Tissa. When you are rid of greed for form, feeling, perception, choices, consciousness.
May I explain something here?
Sure.
Sadhu. We rejoice in your reading the word of the Buddha. So here, remember in the meditation, we were investigating the true nature of five things. What are those five things? Form, feeling, perception, thoughts, and consciousness. Five things. Okay, here the thoughts are translated as choices, so same meaning: form, feeling, perception, thoughts, and consciousness. So here now think about this, that Bhante was maybe he was about to disrobe, but here, as the incomparable trainer of people, Buddha is asking about very deep things from that Bhante, and fortunately that Bhante can understand, sitting in front of a fully enlightened Buddha, right? So what did the Buddha ask first? This, if you are not rid of greed, desire, for form, right? So that means if you have craving, if you have attachment for something, like any object, here object can be a body, can be your body, can be others' bodies, can be a building, can be vehicles, can be properties, money, or any object, right? Um, because form here, can you see this different sutta?
Yes, Bante, we can.
Okay, so can you see here this paragraph that is highlighted?
Yes, Bante.
Okay, so here, what is form? Katamacha bhikkhave rupang. The form, the four primary elements and form derived from the four primary elements. So the form means anything that is, form means either directly the primary elements, that means this great earth, the water, rainwater, water in lakes, water in rivers, heat, that is in this nature, heat or cold, that is heat element, and then that's fire element, and then the wind, that is a part of the nature. So those are called primary elements. And interestingly, everything out there, everything internal, including our body, everything, even though we consider this object separately, that this body is mine, this is I am, and those people are others, uh, even though we separate like this with labels, Buddha encourages us to investigate the true nature of these things. If we investigate the true nature as we did during the meditation in the beginning of this program, we will realize, little by little, we will realize there is no separation. You cannot say that earth element is only external, it is outside, and this body is something different from that. You cannot say that. If the wisdom is developed, you will realize this body, everything in this body is a part of those primary elements. That is why all these parts of this body eventually become a part of that primary element. All the parts that are in this body called like solid parts, hard parts, will become parts of the earth. We go back to earth. All the liquid parts will go back to water. This heat will go back to the nature, the heat of the body. The wind going through this body will go back to the nature. So this is the wisdom we need to develop. And Buddha actually explains this within the same sutta. So that is called vipassana. Not only this body, everything that we use, all the objects are made up of these four elements. And if we understand that these things are made up of these four elements, we will realize that we can't hold on to these things, because the nature of the primary elements are impermanent and subject to change. So why we hold on to different things that has the same nature? We will realize this little by little, and that is the path to freedom. So that is what we learn here. So Buddha asked, because we have Tissa, when we have craving and attachment for these objects, when these objects decay and perish, right? When this body decay and perish, when everything we use decay and perish, all the objects, will it give rise to sorrow, lamentation, pain, sadness, and distress? What is the reason for our pain, sadness, distress, our tears? What is the reason for our suffering? It is because of this craving, attachment, desire, thirst for the objects that is made up of four primary elements. Is that clear? So that is why Bhante answers, yes, sir. Yes, Bhante. We will cry. We will be sad when they change. And Buddha answers, good, good, Tissa. That is how it is, Tissa, when you are not rid of greed for form. Okay? So in the same way, Buddha asks about the feelings. So if we go to see the meaning of feelings, here, there are 6 classes of feeling. Feeling born of eye contact, ear contact, nose contact, body contact, the tongue contact, body contact, and mind contact, right? This is called feeling. And how does this feeling arise? Feeling originates from contact. So we know the contact means the combination of 3 things. When we see something, the combination of eye, visual object, and eye consciousness. This is called eye contact. So in the same way with the other sense bases, when we hear something, it is the combination of ear, sound, and the ear consciousness. So that is called ear contact. So feeling originates from this contact. Feeling through the seeing, feeling through hearing, feeling through smelling, feelings through tasting, feelings through touching, feelings through thinking. All these feelings arise from contact. What happens to those feelings? Are they permanent? No. When contact ceases, feeling ceases. So Buddha asks here, but because we don't understand the reality, when we have greed, craving, attachment for these feelings, we think, I am feeling, this is my feeling, this is who I am. And we think we want to live with those certain feelings. We don't understand the cause and effect mechanism behind feelings. So we want to be identified with these feelings. And we cling because of that craving. Buddha asks, what do you think, Tissa? When that feeling changes, decays, and perishes, will you cry? Will you be sad? Then Bhante answers, yes, Bhante. Now, another reason why we suffer, another reason why we are sad, disappointed. What is that reason? Second reason. The first reason why we suffer, why we cry, why we are sad is because of the craving for objects, craving for forms, right? What is the second reason according to this sutta for our suffering? Craving for
Craving for
feelings.
feeling.
Craving for feelings. So Buddha asks again about perception. Here, there are 6 classes of perception. Perception of sights, sounds, smells, tastes, touches, and thoughts. This is called perception. So with perception, we perceive colors, we perceive different shapes, right? So if it is a flower, we perceive all the details of the flower and establish craving. So we like to see that flower again and again. We like to see that flower all day. We don't understand how this perception changes, right? So this perception originates from contact. Whatever beauty or the shape or the color that will last, not according to our wish, that will last as long as the contact lasts. But without understanding this, so that's why Buddha says here, when contact ceases, perception ceases. Okay, and this is these explanations are from the Sattatthana Sutta, 7 cases. Okay, Sattatthana Sutta from the same chapter of the 5 groups of clinging. Okay, so Buddha asks, if we have craving for the things we perceive, when those perceptions change, what will happen? We will be sad, we will cry, and will that happen to us? Then Tissa Bhante answered, yes, Bhante. So that's about perceptions. Then Buddha asked about formations. That means thoughts. So we go here, thoughts. There are 6 classes of intention or thoughts. Intention regarding sights, intention regarding sounds, smells, tastes, tangibles, and intention regarding thoughts. These thoughts originates from contact. When contact ceases, thoughts cease. So Buddha asks here, if we have craving and attachment for these thoughts without understanding they are a result of the contact, will we cry? Will we be sad? Then Tissa Bhante answers, yes, Bhante. We will be sad, very upset. And finally, Buddha asks about consciousness. What is the consciousness? There are 6 classes of consciousness. Ear consciousness, eye consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, and mind consciousness. This is called consciousness. Consciousness originates from name and form, nama rupa. When name and form cease, consciousness ceases. But without understanding this, we just crave the things that cognizes through our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So Buddha asks, because of this craving for the consciousness, when that consciousness decays and perishes, it will change. It's not permanent. And that will give rise to suffering. That is another reason why we are going to cry, suffer. Right? And when Buddha asked about that, Bhante agreed. Yes, Bhante, if we have craving for the consciousness, when it changes, we will cry. So isn't this a marvelous discovery? That people in this world in general, not only people, Buddha says even gods, even gods cry. Higher beings cry. Humans cry. Animals cry. All the beings cry except enlightened beings. Enlightened beings do not cry like ordinary beings. So basically, all beings, either human, heavenly, or lower realms, all beings, they cry for different reasons, but they don't know why they cry. They are sad, they don't know why they are sad. They are upset. They don't know why they are upset. This is the reason. What is the reason? Because of having craving for form, for feelings, for perceptions, for thoughts, and for consciousness. Do you know how many times we have cried? Can somebody please read this sutta from the suttafriends.org?
I'll read Bante.
Okay, Dayani.
This is how I heard. At one time, the Blessed One was living in the city of Savatthi in Jeta's Park at Anathapindika's monastery. The Blessed One addressed the monks, saying, "O monks," Bante, those monks replied. The Blessed One said, "Monks, this cycle of rebirth is endless. The beginning of the extremely long journey cannot be discovered. These beings, hindered by lack of knowledge of the true nature of life and bound by craving, roam and wander on in this endless journey." What do you think, monks? Which is more, the stream of tears you have shed as you roam and wandered on in this journey, crying and weeping because of being united with unfriendly people and unpleasant things, and separated from loved one and loved belongings? These are the water in the four great oceans. As we understand the Dharma taught by the Blessed One, Bante, the stream of tears we have shed as we roam and wandered on in this journey, crying and weeping because of being united with unfriendly people and unpleasant things, and separated from loved one and loved belongings, this alone is more than the water in the four great oceans. Good, good, monks. It is good that you understand the Dharma taught by me in such way. The stream of tears you have shed as you roam and wandered on in this journey, crying and weeping because of being united with unfriendly people and unpleasant things, and separated from loved one and loved belongings, this alone is more than the water in the four great oceans. For a long time, monks, you have experienced suffering of the death of your mother, as you have experienced this, crying and weeping because of being united with unfriendly people and unpleasant things, and separated from loved ones and loved belongings. The stream of tears that you have shed is more than the water in the four great oceans. For a long time, monks, you have experienced suffering of the death of your father, the death of your brother, the death of your sister, the death of your son, the death of your daughter, the loss of your relative, the loss of your wealth, the pain of sickness, as you have experienced this, crying and weeping because of being united with unfriendly people and unpleasant things, and separated from loved one and loved belongings. The stream of tears that you have shed is more than the water in the four great oceans. What is the reason for that? It is because, monks, this cycle of rebirth is endless. The beginning of this extremely long journey cannot be discovered. These beings, hindered by lack of knowledge of the true nature of life and bound by craving, roam and wander on in this endless journey. For such a long time, monks, you have experienced various types of sufferings, tragedies, and disasters. You have filled the cemetery with your dead bodies. Therefore, monks, the time has come for you to understand the meaningless nature of all conditioned things. The time has come for you to become detached from them, and the time has come for you to be liberated from them.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu.
Isn't that a powerful sutta?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we rejoice in your good karma of reading that powerful sutta.
Thank you, Bante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, so now we understand the cause of suffering, and Buddha explained the cause, and Buddha explained about the suffering first. Otherwise, people think there is no suffering in this world, everything going well. At least for now, the people, the entire world will agree that there is suffering in the world, right? Otherwise, when the world is very going very smoothly, people are watching teledramas, watching movies, and world is like a bed of roses, and people will argue with Bante. Some people will argue, why this suffering? You are talking about suffering. There is no suffering in the world. Everything is fine. We have everything, right? But at least for now, the entire world will agree. No, no, there is suffering in this life. Suffering in this world. See how true the Buddha's words are? Suffering is a noble truth. It's not for only for Buddhists, it's for all beings that have come to be. No matter what religion they follow, no matter which part of the world they live, no matter which language they speak. See that's why that's the meaning of the noble truth of suffering. Noble truth of suffering means is common to all beings. So this is a universal truth. That is amazing, the knowledge of the Buddha. So now Buddha had to explain about suffering in details. Otherwise, people don't know. They think they have only this life. After death, everything perishes, everything disappears. There is nothing to go to the next life. There is no such thing called next life. Everything ends at death. So people misunderstand. So Buddha had to explain about the noble truth of suffering in details. This is how he explained. He explained this is how you suffered in the past, and you are suffering in the present life, and you will suffer in future if you continue this journey. So that is the meaning of the limitless compassion. Even though some people don't like to hear, if when a fully enlightened Buddha had limitless compassion, he would reveal the truth. It's because of the limitless compassion. Because Buddha had limitless compassion, he wanted to tell the truth, so that people, wise people, at least few people, not the majority, very few people, at least wise people, they are in this world, will understand the truth. So limitless compassion means revealing the truth. That is what Buddha is doing here. So Buddha revealed the truth of noble truth of suffering. And if we go back to the Tissa Sutta, so this is from Assu Sutta, from the Anamatagga Sangyutta Nikaya. If you go back to the Tissa Sutta, now Buddha explains this is the reason for suffering. Why we continue this long journey is because of craving for objects, craving for feelings, craving for perceptions, craving for thoughts, and craving for consciousness. And then Buddha explains about the solution, right? What do you think, this? If you are rid of greed, desire, if you abandon craving for form, when that form decays and perishes, that means here in this case, perishing a form means somebody, a loved one, dies, right? And what is the reason for our tears? Why we add more tears to that stream of tears? It's because of craving for that object. In this case, we call the object a loved one. So like that, this happened to us again and again. But if somebody has abandoned craving and attachment, and that is possible, some people actually think it's impossible to abandon craving. It is possible. Buddha did that first. All the past Buddhas did that. liberated monks and nuns did that. So tears didn't come from their eyes when their loved ones passed away. And we can understand how they faced the death of their loved ones with a very balanced mind, equanimous mind, with a fully developed wisdom. We can understand, we can read all the 18,000 discourses, amazing stories, how they understood the true nature of life without crying, without complaining, without getting sad, upset. We can see very clearly. There are very solid evidences. So Buddha asked this, explains about the end of suffering. Here, end of suffering means ending the craving for objects, feelings, perceptions, thoughts, and consciousness. Okay, this is very deep Dhamma. So, next, but don't forget that this deep Dhamma conversation happens with a monk who was about to disrobe. So we cannot say, oh, this deep Dhamma is only for the very wise people who are about to be liberated. We are far away from deep Dhamma. Please don't teach us deep Dhamma yet. Can you say that? No, this Bhante was about to disrobe, and this very deep Dhamma is presented to that Bhante by the Buddha. So we should respect the deep Dhamma. Because some people think Bhantes should teach only about marriage life, only about day-to-day life, only about worldly affairs. Some people actually have that idea. But there are very wise lay people, and they like to hear the deep Dhamma, and this deep Dhamma can liberate them, enlighten them. So they really love it. This is what is happening here. Now Bhante is going to love this deep Dhamma in the end. So Buddha continues. He is asking questions. Can another Kalyanamitta read from here?
Bhante, Namo Buddhaya. But go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, Ben.
All right. What do you think, Tissa? Is form permanent or impermanent? Impermanent, sir. Is feeling, perception, choices, consciousness permanent or impermanent? Impermanent, sir. So you should truly see. Seeing this, they understand. There is no return to any state of existence.
Okay, let me take you to the description of here, because you see this ... that means there is something hidden. Okay, so that means this is the shorter version, the summarized version here, but we should go to the original text here, original explanation here. This is the original explanation. Okay, please read from here.
What do you think, mendicants? Is form permanent or impermanent? Impermanent, sir. But if it's impermanent, is it suffering or happiness? Suffering, sir. But if it's impermanent, suffering, and perishable, is it fit to be regarded thus? This is mine. I am this. This is myself. No, sir. Is feeling permanent or impermanent? Is perception permanent or impermanent? Are choices permanent or impermanent? Is consciousness permanent or impermanent? Impermanent, sir. But if it's impermanent, is it suffering or happiness? Suffering, sir. But if it's impermanent, suffering, and perishable, is it fit to be regarded thus? This is mine. I am this. This is myself. No, sir.
Okay, let me add something here. Please pay full attention here. This is the meditation that we did in the beginning of this program. So it is directly taken from the instructions of the Buddha. So this is the same thing that we were doing as the investigation of life. So this is what Buddha normally guide through, and in many cases after this conversation, the listener, the Bhantes, will attain stages of enlightenment. So this is a very powerful conversation, very powerful Dhamma is shared here. So this is actually the base for our meditation, Kanda Bhavana. And because people around the world talk about Vipassana a lot, insight meditation, and we see sometimes they create their own versions as insight meditation, seeing the arising and falling and things like that. So they give their own definitions, but the discoverer of the insight meditation is the Buddha. So this is without any doubts. You can follow this insight meditation, this Vipassana, and this is directly from the Buddha. You will definitely have results if you follow this meditation. Okay, so without any doubt, with very happy minds, you can do this meditation, you can do this reflection. This is coming from directly from the Buddha. This is the true Vipassana. Okay, so please go ahead.
But if it's okay, so you should truly see any kind of form at all, past, future, or present, internal or external, coarse or fine, inferior or superior, far or near, all form with right understanding. This is not mine. I am not this. This is not myself. Any kind of feeling at all, any kind of perception at all, any kind of choices at all, you should truly see any kind of consciousness at all, past, future, or present, internal or external, coarse or fine, inferior or superior, far or near, all consciousness with right understanding. This is not mine. I'm not this. This is not myself. Seeing this, a learned noble disciple grows disillusioned with form, feeling, perception, choices, and consciousness. Being disillusioned, desire fades away. When desire fades away, they are freed. When they are freed, they know they are freed. They understand rebirth is ended. The spiritual journey has been completed. What had to be done has been done. There is no return to any state of existence.
So, so this is what was said by the Buddha to Tissa Bhante in that original sutta that we were following. But I took this from the Panchavaggiya Sutta or Anatta Lakkana Sutta, and there is a beautiful ending in this sutta. So can Ben read that last paragraph? You can see the result of this Dhamma discussion.
Yes, Bhante. This is what the Buddha said. Satisfied, the group of 5 mendicants were happy with what the Buddha said. And while this discourse was being spoken, the minds of the group of 5 mendicants were freed from defilements by not grasping.
Sadhu, sadhu. This is the moment where the very first Arahants after the Buddha appeared on this earth. These are the very first Arahants after the Buddha, the 5 Arahants, the 5 monks who were with the Buddha in the deer park at Isipatana near Varanasi. Right? So this is how they became Arahants. So this is a powerful thing. And this is the first time the human beings attain arahantship by listening to the teachings of the Buddha. So with these 5 Bhantes, Arahant Bhantes, there were altogether 6 Arahants walking on the earth for the first time in India at that time. So this is a very powerful sutta, beautiful sutta. So the same explanation was given here by the Buddha to Tissa Bhante. Okay, there is no return to any state of existence. Okay, so now do you understand the insight vipassana explained by the Buddha here? And he asks about is form permanent or impermanent, right? Impermanent Bhante, niccang vati, aniccang Bhante, yad aniccang, yam pana aniccang, dukkang vatang, sukhang vati. If what is impermanent, is it suffering or happiness? Dukkham Bhante, right? Yam pana aniccang, dukkhang viparinama dhammang. If what is impermanent and subject to change, kallanutang samanupaschitum. Is it okay to regard about form, feeling, and these things? Etang mama, eso hamasvi, eso me yattati. This is mine, this is I am, this is myself. No Bhante. That's what the conversation. And Buddha said, so you should see this with developed wisdom. Samma panyaya datthabbang. Atitanagata pacchuppannang. Ajjattang va bahiddha va olarika va sukhamang va hinang va panitang va yang dure santike va sabbang rupang netang mama neso hamasmi nameso attati eva metan sammapanyaya datthabbang. You should see that all the forms in the past, future, present, internal, external, gross, subtle, inferior, superior, far and near, not mine, not I am, not myself. That was the instruction of the Buddha. So if you really like to do the vipassana, please follow this. This is the powerful explanation from the Buddha. So that was the basic explanation, instruction given by the Buddha. And finally, Buddha explains a beautiful story, like a father would explain to a son or daughter. It's a very beautiful story from the Buddha. So this is the last part of the sutta. Can somebody read this?
I can read it, Bhante.
Arjuna?
Yes, Bhante.
Okay, please go ahead.
Suppose, Tissa, there were two people. One was not skilled in the path, the other was. The one not skilled in the path would question the one skilled in the path, who would reply, "Come, good man, this is the path. Go down it a little, and you'll see a fork in the road. Ignore the left and take the right-hand path. Go a little further, and you'll see a dark forest grove. Go a little further, and you'll see an expanse of low-lying marshes. Go a little further, and you'll see a large steep cliff. Go a little further, and you'll see a level, cleared parkland." I've made up this simile to make a point, and this is what it means. A person who is not skilled in the path is a term for an ordinary, uneducated person. A person who is skilled in the path is a term for the realized one, the perfected one, the fully awakened Buddha. A fork in the road is a term for doubt. The left-hand path is a term for the wrong eightfold path, that is wrong view, wrong immersion. The right-hand path is a term for the noble eightfold path, that is right view, right immersion. A dark forest grove is a term for ignorance. An expanse of low-lying marshes is a term for sensual pleasures. A large steep cliff is a term for anger and distress. Level, cleared parkland is a term for extinguishment. Rejoice, Tissa, rejoice. I'm here to advise you, to support you, and to teach you. That is what the Buddha said. Satisfied, Venerable Tissa was happy with what the Buddha said.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu.
So Buddha gave this beautiful simile. Did you understand the simile? So who is the one not skilled in the path?
We are.
Ordinary person.
Huh?
We are.
Ordinary person.
Yeah, we are. It's the beings who are wandering in this samsara. Okay. But fortunately, we come across a person who is skilled in the path. Who is that?
That's our blessed one, the Supreme Buddha.
That's the Buddha. Okay. So now we are going on a special journey, which we haven't gone, never gone that path. And so when we start the journey, now Buddha is there to tell the path, direction, to give the directions. And we come to a fork. Fork means an intersection. Okay. So intersection means doubts. Which way to take, right? There's the left-hand path. What is that path? Wrong view, wrong intention,
Wrong speech,
wrong action,
Wrong action,
wrong life,
wrong livelihood,
wrong
wrong
efforts,
effort,
wrong effort,
wrong concentration,
wrong mindfulness.
mindfulness, wrong
concentration.
Yes, wrong livelihood, wrong mindfulness, wrong concentration, and that is the wrong path. Okay. Should we take that path?
No.
No.
no Bhante.
Take that path. That means we shouldn't have wrong views. What is the meaning that we should not have wrong thoughts?
Thoughts of sensual pleasure, harming
Yeah.
and
Yes, we should not.
ill will.
Yeah, we should not have those kind of bad thoughts, evil thoughts, angry thoughts, greedy thoughts. Okay. So what is the meaning of we should not take the wrong path in terms of wrong speech? We should not tell.
Don't lie.
Don't
Tell
lie.
lies. Divisive speech.
Yeah. Don't speak divisively. Don't speak harshly. Okay.
Harsh speech.
What's the meaning of not taking wrong action?
No killing, no beings, no stealing, no sexual misconduct.
Yes. Don't do those bad actions. What's the meaning of not practicing wrong livelihood?
Earning money righteously without
Yeah, lay people should not earn money in wrong means, unrighteous means, hurting others, cheating others, killing beings, selling poison, selling weapons. Lay people should not earn money. And when it goes to the right livelihood, about monks, monks should not cheat lay people. Monks should not praise lay people expecting gains. So that's wrong livelihood. What's the meaning of wrong effort?
Not having the effort to
That we don't abandon the unwholesome thoughts
Yeah,
that
like
has
effort to have unwholesome qualities, right? That is miccha vayama. What is miccha sati? Wrong mindfulness. That is basically keep thinking about unwholesome thoughts. Okay, that's miccha sati. Miccha samadhi, wrong concentration, means focusing on wrong things for a long time. And that unification of mind based on an unwholesome object is called wrong concentration. So Buddha shows us the right to take the right hand path. And what is the right hand path?
the Noble Eightfold Path.
The Noble
Noble
Eightfold.
Eightfold Path. What is that? Right view,
Right thought, right
Right
intention,
intention.
right action,
right
right livelihood, right effort,
effort,
right
mindfulness,
mindfulness, and
and right concentration. So we follow that path and we come across a dark forest grove. What is that?
ignorance, avijja.
Ignorance. So that means we have to abandon that. We have to overcome that forest. What is the meaning of ignorance?
Not knowing the Four Noble.
Not knowing the Four Noble Truths. So we have to understand about 5 groups of clinging. We have to understand the true nature of sense faculties. We have to understand the dependent origination. Then only the ignorance will be abandoned. That's why we need to learn the deep Dhamma. Okay, in order to abandon ignorance, in order to abandon the lack of knowledge of the Four Noble Truths. That's why we should learn the deep Dhamma. And then there is another thing that we come across on the path that is called low-lying. What is the meaning of low-lying marshes? I think
Like a swamp.
Swamp. Yeah.
yeah, like mud pit, right?
Mud, yeah.
Yeah, something like mud pit of mud. So that is a term for sense pleasures. That's not a good thing to go after sense pleasures. Okay, and we have to avoid steep cliff on the path along the way. What is that? Anger and distress. So these are not good things. We have to abandon. And finally, we will reach the beautiful land, and that is the term for it's. That doesn't mean that the person who attains enlightenment goes to a special land, because some Buddhist sectors teach about something called pure land or whatever, this and that. So that is not what Buddha meant here. It is a simile. It is a simile. It is not some place. And when Buddha explains, the person who is walking will go to a beautiful parkland. It is a term for the one who practices the Noble Eightfold Path and attains Nibbana. Extinguishment here means Nibbana, freedom from suffering. And this compassion of the Buddha. Buddha said, "Rejoice, Tissa, rejoice, Tissa. I am here to advise you. I am here to support you. I am here to teach you." So what happened with this instruction of a fully enlightened Buddha? The Bhante again came back to the Dhamma path, and that is why it is said here, Venerable Tissa was happy. He was very happy with the instructions of the Buddha. And normally, when we see this sentence as this Bhante was very happy, that means his problem was solved. Normally, that is the meaning of this sentence. So, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Isn't that a beautiful sutta?
Yes, Bhante.
Yes, Bhante.
It's about our own life, right? Sometimes we fail in the path, we fall down, and there are Kalyana Mittas out there to help us, and we will rise again, rise up. Okay, so that is from the Samyutta Nikaya, Connected Discourses of the Buddha. That's the Tissa Sutta we learned, and we used other suttas to learn more things as well.